what makes you kind of take that step?
And Henry, you're asking some very personal questions right here. The reason why I'm like that, it's actually what I think is my biggest flaw. By the end of this year, I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know where the money's gonna come from, but I'm gonna get one of these big old embroidery machines. So I'm gonna tell you guys something that I probably never said on camera.
All right, guys, welcome to another podcast episode on this channel. Today, I have a special guest here with me. Many of you know him as Allan Wade or A-Dubb Productions on YouTube. He has his own business, has a ton of machines, and really got started with just a single needle sewing and embroidery machine combo. And so today, we wanted to bring him on the show and really just pick his brain as to how he got started, his whole journey, and give you guys some insight on how to scale your business. Because, you know, if there's anyone to learn a bit from, it's definitely Allan, and having grown his business, you know, essentially from grassroots and from the ground up to where it is today. So, Allan, great to have you on the podcast here, and first time we're kind of doing it in this format. So, definitely excited for you to be here. What made you kind of interested in apparel decoration? Just take us through that journey.
So, first of all, thank you so much for having me today, Henry. I appreciate it. So, I got started because my mother asked me to get some shirts made. I was fresh out of graphic design school and film school, and I had a background in Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and things like that. So I knew that I was capable of making the shirts myself. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos at the time, and I knew that there was a device called the Silhouette Cameo, a vinyl cutter. So instead of getting the shirts made for a couple $100, I said, Mom, why don't we just put our money together and go on Amazon and buy this machine, the Silhouette Cameo, and I can make the shirts, you can have the shirts, and we can still have this machine so we can continue to use the machine. So she agreed that was a good idea. So we went ahead and got the Cameo. Cameo came and it had no instructions in it. So back to square one, right? So I sat with the machine for a little while. I figured it out. I watched some YouTube videos, and along the way, I started making some YouTube videos to show other people how to use it because, again, it came with no instructions. But I wanted to take the business to the next level. And I always had in my mind, from a consumer perspective, that embroidery was like the pinnacle of garment decorating. Like when you see clothes in the store and the design is stitched into the fabric with thread, it just seems like it's like the best thing ever. So I wanted to learn how to do that process, but I knew that there was no way in the world that I can afford an embroidery machine to do this because, you know, it just has a high perceived value. So lo and behold, I did a little bit of research and I found this small single needle embroidery machine, and it was only a couple $100. So I think at the time it was maybe about $350 on Amazon.
Yeah.
So I decided to get this machine with the Silhouette Cameo money because I've been selling t-shirts, making one-offs, and sitting the money to the side for possibly something bigger. So I got that machine. Lo and behold, no instructions. Once again, here we go.
Yeah.
I said to my audience on YouTube, because I think at the time I probably grew to about, I don't know, 5,000 subscribers, maybe, if that. And I said to them at the beginning of one year, I said, by the end of this year, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know where the money's going to come from, but I'm going to get one of these big old embroidery machines that you see people having. And I'm going to get one. I don't know where the money's going to come from. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to get one of these things. Then I ran into the Ricoma advertisements. And I think around the time, what's popped out to me instantly was 0% financing.
Mhm.
And I had great credit. Always take care of your credit, guys. I had great credit at the time. It seemed to me at the time that they were practically giving me a machine and I would pay it off over time. So that was the best option for me.
Yeah, now you got multiple embroidery machines and multiple directed garment printers and multiple DTF printers. You
Yes.
got all the toys in the retail front now, right?
Yeah.
In the building, in the commercial space. You just having this mindset that you like to tinker with things. You know, it's part of what you said. Some machines don't come with the instructions. You just kind of go ahead and figure it out. So, what has been the driver behind that to see it through or to tinker with it and just like throw their hands up and say, you know what, I don't want to deal with this.
And Henry, you're asking some very personal questions right here. It might not seem like it to you, but it really is. Um, so I'm gonna tell you guys something that I probably never said on camera. Like the reason why I'm like that is it's actually my what I think is my biggest flaw. I have this thing with me personally where I get something in my head and I like to figure out the process, learn the process, and get the thing to work. And once I get the thing to work, I'm satisfied and I kind of like move on to the next thing. Now my mind starts wondering about, okay, well, how does this one work? Well, okay, I see that that looks like that. So that must, let me try that.
From the perspective of like you seeing that thing through, it's better than giving up, because then it
100%.
because right because otherwise you would never have that information under your belt and have that knowledge.
Right.
Every day when the lights come on, there's gonna be problems. Like be
100%.
prepared. You're
Always.
not coming into business
Always.
to have a smooth sailing. Every time the doors open, the lights come on, your whole job there is to solve problems.
Every single time, like even when you get a large order and when you say, okay, this is the perfect order. I've done a bunch of these. You get in there, you know exactly what you're gonna do. Okay, this is gonna take me 45 minutes. I'm gonna knock this whole order out and ship it out.
Mm,
And then something goes wrong.
right,
It's just the nature of the business.
right.
Anybody in this industry can relate to what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, it is like you said, all about problem solving and all about, not getting frustrated with yourself and knowing what to do and knowing the nuances of your equipment.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I think people underplay that part a lot, thinking that um,
it's easy.
that is easy, right?
It's
And
easy.
no business would is necessarily easy,
Right.
right? And it's just like anything else. It's a skill, it's a trade that needs to be learned.
People's minds are different. So things that I might be able to figure out on a piece of equipment or even on a piece of software, other people might not get it. And it took me a while to really digest that and understand that. You might be good at this. I might be good at this. We're all different and we're all put here to help each other. So
Hmm.
I kind of like helping and showing people how the stuff works so that they can, have an easier time than the last person did.
What kind of machines do you have now? I know you started out with the you said the PE eight
Right
hundred
down I
or
have.
the SE 800, and then with a Cameo. I know you have a bunch of embroidery machines and a DTF of ours. But what other, like, do you have a total of all the equipment that you have?
SE 600s. I have about 8 SE 600s.
Wow.
And that's the single needle, small single needles. And I know people are saying like, why
Why,
would
why,
you
why do you?
need a
That's the
bunch of
first thing that came to my mind. Why do you need eight?
So in the front of my workshop, I'm doing this thing called sew and sips. So if anybody's in the Philadelphia area and you want to do sew and sips, then you can contact me and we can. It's kind of like a paint with a twist,
Mm,
but it's sew and sips. You pick a file, bring your own bottle. Could be a date night. You sit down and you pick a file. I'll show you how to thread the machine, and you operate an embroidery machine, and
nice.
you leave with something embroidered on a shirt or something like that. So
Okay. It's like a
yeah,
cooking class, but with sewing.
exactly. On a
Okay.
single needle. So I
Okay.
got 8 of those.
All right.
Some screen printing equipment. I
Okay.
have some thermal screen printing equipment.
Wow.
With thermal technology, I have the 2 EM 1010s. One I shipped overseas.
Okay.
One is at my house.
Okay.
I have
You
the
started with the MT
MT
1501.
1501.
Mhm.
I have an MT 1502. I have an MT 2002 8S. I have the new marquee.
So just on the embroidery, like multi-needle embroidery heads, that's like what, like 10?
I
You got
have
two, 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 that's
yeah, yeah,
six,
yeah,
about
10,
about 10.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, like nine,
Yeah, yeah,
nine,
like
around
9.
nine. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So I also have the oh my gosh, the DTF machine, the Rebel DT 2402T.
Yeah.
Love that machine, by the way. Very addictive machine. Can get you very distracted, and can take over your whole business. Love that machine.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I got a bunch of machines. Like I said,
Mm,
part of my business is like part of what I do is like help people understand how to work the machines.
mm.
So that's why I have so many different machines, and got about 8 or 9 heat presses and things like
Okay,
that.
right, right.
I have 2
Two
Ricoma
Ricomas,
presses.
yeah.
Yeah, 16 by
Okay.
20 presses. Love those presses, by the way, with the digital screen, and you can program the settings, pre-program the settings, and recall them really, really easy
Yeah.
as opposed to other machines.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Is your main business now like a combination of embroidery and printing?
Yes,
Like,
100%.
focusing on, embroidery is embroidery. You run that either patches, whatever the case is, custom orders, and then on DTF, do you really just do the transfers, or you sell the shirts too?
Yeah, so it depends. So I do a little bit of everything, right?
Okay.
So prior to getting the DTF machine, my embroidery business was really booming, right? It was
Mm,
starting to grow, and I was starting to find my own niche in like in the school area, right?
yeah.
But then I got the DTF machine, and with the DTF machine, it's so easy to make money, like, right? And that's why this whole industry is like is shaken up a lot as
Mhm,
far as I know everybody can see it. It's like it's ridiculous. DTF is everywhere, right? So
mhm.
the reason why DTF is everywhere is because the printer is it's just a printer. It's just a printer, right? But the nuances is like it's kind of like a hybrid between everybody was afraid of DTG. Everybody doesn't want to get involved with all the equipment required to screen print,
Mm.
but at the same time, it's like it's just an easy process to do. You can train anybody to do it, and for the people that don't want the machine, you can just have somebody that has the machine make a transfer for you. And so there's so many
Just like
different avenues.
right,
You can
right,
make the shirt,
right.
you can make and sell the shirt, or you can sell somebody a transfer so that so they can make the shirt, or you can do kind of like I have sip and sew. You can do come in and you can grab a few transfers and you can have the pressing experience,
Right, right, right.
So that's another
So
idea.
it
I'm
kind
giving away
of
all my
breaks down.
ideas here.
Yeah, it kind of breaks down the process into two like separate processes. You can
Yes.
do the printing side, and you can do the pressing onto the garments, and
Yeah.
then that creates essentially two business models. Or you can do the whole thing and sell the finished shirts.
So many different possibilities with
Yeah,
DTF,
and,
yeah.
and you
But at the
yeah
same time, I'm sorry to
yeah.
interrupt. But at the same time, embroidery is timeless.
Mm,
And whenever like I get a little bit I won't say tired of DTF, but whenever I want to do something a little bit more creative, a little
mhm.
bit more involved, embroidery is timeless and embroidery is undeniable when it's done right.
Yeah,
Like when you see a good a nice quality embroidered design on a sweatshirt or a hoodie or a hat, it's undeniable and it demands a high price. And when somebody sees it, they don't if it's something that they like, they don't think twice about purchasing that item. Now, when it comes to DTF, DTF is great, but if you wanna step it up a notch, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention I have 2 DTG machines
right.
also. So when you wanna step it up a notch, that DTG look and that
And the
DTG
feel,
feel,
yeah.
that
Can't be comparable. Yeah.
that's the undeniable part about, printing. So DTF is great and all, but, if you wanna step it up, department store quality, DTG,
Right.
that's undeniable. People don't mind. People love DTF. Don't get me wrong. They love it. But if you sit that DTF until you sit that DTF machine next to a DTG printed shirt, like a DTF shirt, DTG shirt, then there's a difference. But if you
Yeah.
don't sit them next to each other,
Right. You
people don't
can't.
mind.
People don't really can't really tell.
Be-
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's a transfer versus a direct to garment. You're gonna
right.
have that difference,
Difference
and that's
between.
why if you want to go for that, just hand smooth feel,
Mhm.
that's just like part of the shirt. You can't go wrong with DTG. That's why like each one has its like place,
Its own place.
And DTG,
100%.
you're not gonna turn on your 2402 DTF to run just one one piece. You're
Exactly.
not gonna turn the whole thing on, set it up, all the roll, and then just print one piece. But DTG, you can do
Yeah,
that.
I'm
You
glad
can,
you said that
yeah,
too. But when you're doing DTF and you have something like I have the 2402T, which is the wide format, and like you want to do one shirt, for example, if you don't want to do a DTG, you definitely want it to DTF. Or if you have a order where they ordered like 1 or 2 DTF prints, uh, a good thing to have is like a smaller unit so that you can pump out the smaller orders that you don't want to fire up and waste film on.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah, and we got some stuff in the works, for to complete the range of product lines for GTF. But yeah, if you have a 2402, you're using it for like large scale runs, right? 'Cause what's your minimum that you do on that, or do you have one?
I try not to have minimums because in my business, I wanna concentrate on people that are just getting started.
Okay.
So I kind of make my niche um low quantity because it seems like that market, the market for people who don't want that many is like underserved.
Mm,
So I try to take all orders,
okay.
large scale or smaller scale, and I
Okay.
try to reassure the people who might just want one or two transfers that
Okay.
I'll
That
take
that
care
that
of
you
you.
can do it. But
Yeah,
it's probably do you kind of piece together with other orders that are also one or two?
100%.
Yeah,
That's
so that you,
exactly
you
what I
kind of
do.
just like
Yeah.
print like 4 or 5 orders at the same
Exactly.
time.
So if somebody wants a 13-inch or a 12-inch, I'll have like a another 10-inch on standby that I wanted to print, and I'll
Okay.
just sit that one next to
Right.
theirs
Right.
so I can print both of them at the same time. Or if it's a popular design that I might be selling on my website,
Okay.
I'll pre-print that.
Oh, so you also do like pre-printed one, not pre-printed, but like pre-designed ones that you design
Yeah.
that people can buy just that transfer. It's like, oh, I like that look.
Give
Let,
me
let me let
12 of
me let me
those or
buy it.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And then they can also order custom from you with their
Exactly.
own design.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
which one do you get more of? The
I
ones
get
that
more custom.
you get more custom.
Custom
Okay.
is always gonna rule, because
Okay.
people always have people have ideas, right? People
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
ideas, and they wanna see their thing come to fruition, right?
Mhm.
Your thing is cool, but they want their ideas, and they wanna do their thing, so,
Okay.
yeah, custom always yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's just a matter of how do you scale custom. It's kinda difficult to scale
Oh,
custom
I see. Why do you say that?
because, you custom is getting people's orders in,
Yeah.
right? So in order to scale that, you have to get manpower to handle all the different orders.
Mm.
But as opposed to if it's one thing that you're selling,
You just print
you
a
can
bunch
just
of
print a bunch of
yeah.
them, and that's scaled right there,
Right,
right?
I
So
see,
it's
I see.
like, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I guess the scaling is in a different way. Like you're
right.
you're talking about so scaling from the production side, but then if you have your own brand, you got to scale the audience to resonate with your
Exactly,
brand,
exactly. So
right? So
it's kind yeah, so it's
it's
kind
kind
of
of
weird. How do you
yeah.
scale versus scale? Like
Right,
scale, you
right.
need more customers on the custom side, so
Yeah.
you can't pre-make something that you don't know what you're making
Right,
because it's
right.
custom,
Right, right,
right?
right.
So,
But
but
then, yeah, but then on the production side, for your own brand, scaling on the production is easy because you just print a bunch of the same thing. But you need enough demand from people following your brand or
exactly,
or wanting,
right.
because there's some people that get into this business wanting to start their own clothing brand.
I think like if when you're trying to determine what equipment that you want, yeah, your business model and what exactly you're trying to accomplish comes into play a lot. Like Henry said, when you're trying to do your own brand, essentially, like it might not be the wisest thing to do to get your equipment right away. You
Hmm.
might want to just like outsource, and then when you've established your brand a little bit, and your business calls for it, then you might want to get some equipment, so that you can cut some of the costs and produce it in house. Because what's going to happen is you're gonna buy some equipment, and what happens is you get the equipment, and what you think you wanted it for is not what's gonna make the most money using that equipment. And initially, when you buy the equipment, you want to get a return on your investment. So when you get that equipment, you're gonna end up doing custom orders, and you're gonna fall
Hmm.
down that rabbit hole
Right.
and not focus on what
on
you
the
want to
brand.
focus on the
Right.
brand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I talk about that on one of the videos on the channel, in that people should, when they're just starting out, you can just buy a heat press and you can order transfers, right?
Mhm.
And from people that have a DTF machine, and then be able to do that at first.
Yep.
See which design that you're designing is hot and
Right.
people are resonating with that, and then you can just buy those transfers that are pre-made, press them on, and then be able to sell it that way. And then once you get enough of a following and you're trying to reduce some of the production costs, is when you buy a $5,000-$10,000 machine and you're able to spread that out over hundreds of pieces, thousands of pieces. It becomes it definitely reduces a lot of the variable cost of your transfers, and you're able to kind of keep more margin in house.
Yeah, I would even say, I know you said transfers. If you have a brand and your brand is growing in popularity and you have that demand for consistent sales in your product, just get a DTG printer, because the quality that you're going to get out of it, your customers are really going to appreciate it, and you're going to appreciate it a lot more too. So just get a DTG printer if you have consistent uh sales. Just get the DTG.
Right, because then you can just print on demand. Essentially, that's what it's.
And it's a
really
higher,
good
and
for.
it's a better feeling
Yeah, of
product.
course. Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm sure that this year you've encountered issues that you didn't even kind of fathom or had in 2023.
So one thing that everybody's encountering right now, and I know you probably weren't headed this direction. You probably weren't expecting me to say this, but the
Okay.
economy's all screwed up right now, and uh, I didn't anticipate for people to stop spending money as drastically as they did,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just a test of how creative you are, and how you can restructure, reorganize, and figure out how to bring in new customers in your door, and maybe you have to change the services and products, change your price points. And what I've done is I took my business mindset and I changed it to more so, how can I help? How can I use my equipment and my services to help other people make money? Because people need to make money right now. And with Ricoma and the machines that they offer, especially the DTF machine, it's a huge opportunity to not only help yourself, but to help other people make money as well if you price your items correctly. So
Yeah.
it's like a win-win.
Last thing, Alan, just tell the audience kind of where they can find you. If they want to buy any stuff that you produce, what are the best ways to kind of reach out to you? What are the things that you can offer?
So the best way to reach out to me, you could go to allanawade.com. That's ALLANAWADE.com. That's my website. You can see all the services that I offer, all the products that I have to offer. If you want some DTF transfers to start your brand and you're not yet ready to buy your machine, go ahead over, place your order. If you want DTG shirts, I can make those for you. Upload your design, DTF, build your gang sheets, everything like that. Or if you just want to learn some stuff about the industry, because we might have said some things to tweak your curiosity, go to my YouTube channel, A-Dubb Productions on YouTube. A-Dubb Productions, ADUBB Productions on YouTube, and watch a few videos, learn about some equipment, and decide which one is right for you.
Yeah, and you always got the sew and sip. Is that what it's
Yep, they
called?
can come and sip and sew, sew and sip. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So then, if you're in the area and you want to kind of get a little bit hands-on and learn how the process works, that's also an option. Thank you so much, Alan, for spending the time with us. And it's always a pleasure to have you here at Deco Summit, and first time that we're doing something pre-Deco Summit in the podcast setting. So definitely a joy to have you, and hopefully the audience got a lot of things out of this conversation to see what your journey is like, what you've seen, how you've grown to where you are today. And a lot of golden nuggets along the way for our audience to kind of marinate on. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hope we can do this sometime soon again.
Okay.